So first of all, I think it's important to understand that when we are creating a universal basic income, we don't necessarily build it on top of the existing safety net. We need to integrate it, and therefore a lot of the revenues that form the foundation for funding come from existing social programs. So if, for instance, you're going to give people $1,000 a month between 18 and 64, which is my proposal, that begins to allow you to terminate a whole series of the 122 cash transfer programs provided by the federal government. Unemployment insurance, food stamps, other kinds of benefits that are now being provided in sort of a welfare safety net become part of the universal basic incomes foundation. And so I think for the $1.75 trillion that I estimate it would cost to provide, every 18 to 64-year-old adult $1,000 a month, you have $500 or $600 billion of existing revenue that's being spent by the federal government on doing that. So that takes you about a little less than a third of the way there. There's another $1.3 trillion of a different kind of welfare, which are corporate and other kinds of tax expenditures paid for by the federal government. There are deductions that are given people for everything from second vacation homes to health insurance to state and local income taxes. The list goes on and on. But as the Simpson-Bowles Commission, which I served on, said, we can't separate that form of social welfare benefits and tax expenditures. And so you have another probably $500 billion of the $1.3 trillion. Now we're up to $1 trillion. And then my book begins to outline some of the choices you could make. Alaska has taxed oil revenues from the North Shore and given it back to people as a dividend. The same could be true for a carbon tax. The United States had a financial transaction tax up until the mid-20th century. Europe has brought it back. According to many economists, that's another $150 to $200 billion. We are one of the only industrialized countries in the world that doesn't have a VAT tax. Other countries have obviously done that. The national sales tax, in essence, that can provide substantial amount of resources before you even get to, is the military overfunded, and what do we want to do with some of the other governmental programs that are not related to social welfare. So I think there's plenty of money available, and asset tax would make the whole thing quite easy if we decided to put a very small amount of taxation on assets. So I think there is a way to fund it. It is not, impossible, and it is not easy, but it is doable if there's the political desire to accomplish that.